What's up, everybody? It's Wes and Andy back for the Fandom Power podcast. Welcome to the second installment of Tuesday Night Random Fandom, where we sit here and we kind of talk about whatever kind of comes to mind in the terms of pop culture and entertainment. With us tonight, all the way from someplace else, it's Adam from GoFigure. Hello, Adam. How's it going? Man, I've been looking forward to this. I was very keen when you said, yes, I will come on your show.
I'll come. I'll hang with you anytime.
So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, you were a man of rumor for a while.
Was that through Ken?
No, not through Ken. I don't believe anything Ken says.
He might drop in here tonight. I don't know.
He'll drop in. He'll be here.
Join the conversation.
That's right. Oh, look at Gaz is here.
So let's go through this here. We'll check in here with the comments. We've got all the way from down under. We've got Sergeant Slaughterhouse. Hey, here for Adam. Subscribe for the Random Fandom Entertainment. Thanks for joining us. We've got Gaz. Tuesday. Did I fall into a time warp?
Yeah, I guess it is Wednesday.
Oh, it is. It is over there. This one comes from one of our followers. This is Dr. Mad Studio in the UK. Hello, Emirates. How's it going? Just been watching The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the BBC TV series version 81.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Most excellent.
I was getting ready to do a mask video in my early videos, and I needed to buy a Thunderhawk, and then I found one on the marketplace. And you guys know when you're buying a toy, it's like you mess around and you like barter on price.
Sure.
But then it's shipping, right? How close do you get?
Yeah.
And then so through talking, I was like, hey, like I live, close to Newmarket. And he's like, well, so do I.
Oh, right.
Back and forth. And turns out we live 4 houses away from each other. Like we're just neighbors down there.
Wow. Okay, cool.
So I went and I just drove to his house and met Taverko, who became like my best bud.
Right. That's cool.
We were hanging out and we were cooking. He's like, you need to meet Wes. That guy's a legend. And so for a while, I was like, who's this guy, Wes? And then we went to my friend's cottage up in Bobcaygeon. I said, there's a toy shop you got to go check out. Rest, my friend, is history.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that worked out really well because I feel like since then, we've had a pretty good relationship. I think we've had some bonding over Masters of the Universe a couple of times.
Absolutely.
Done some Joe business. So that's been good. Sadly, the store is no more, but that just means I have more time for YouTube and streaming. So
and that was your choice. That wasn't like a negative store ending.
So that, I mean, there's a combination of factors there. There is obviously the pandemic was a factor. Living where we live in rural Ontario presented its own challenges, especially living in a retirement community where most of the population is well beyond retirement age.
What do you mean you don't have antiques?
You ever put collectibles on your building and anybody that's over a particular age walks in and they say, where's the collectibles?
That's you're right there.
You know that they speak a different language.
Looking for decorative plates.
That's right. Do you have any spoons?
Yeah, exactly. No, I got my favorite Skeletor from you, which is the Dragon Blaster.
Dragon Blaster, yes.
So you actually, and that figure holds a record. Are you ready for it?
Do tell.
That's the most money I've ever spent on a figure.
Oh wow!
And it wasn't a lot.
No, I did try. I tried. I always tried to keep the pricing as reasonable as I thought it should be.
Yeah, no, it was beauty.
I never really tried for top dollar. I never felt that was a good, at least for me as somebody who is in the business as a hobbyist. I never felt the need to be like, I need to be at eBay top asking dollar.
Bleed it dry.
Right. Never needed to do that.
No, you always want to have money in the pocket to come back and buy more Skeletors.
Well, that was the idea, and I mean, I have buckets worth of stuff sitting in my garage now that is waiting for the spring thaw for me to go through and kind of figure out what I'm going to do with it. But nothing before the spring. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go. Yeah, no, I got a couple awesome pieces here that connected to Wes, so that's great.
Well, again, we are super happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for bringing over some of your friends from your community as well. Yeah. We certainly appreciate all the support as we are We're gunning 500 as our next milestone, so we can unlock the community.
How are we gonna have a 500 sub party? What are we gonna do
on the 500 sub party? I don't know, Andy. What do you think?
Well, we did the giveaway for the 200.
We did. So we actually we did a giveaway at 100, but it turns out
we had a stretch goal for 3.
We did. So we asked for help to get to 100. We blew through that in under 24 hours. But over the period that we had given for the 100 subscriber, we actually made it 200. So not only did we give away 1 action figure, we gave away 2. So
maybe for 500, we just drive to people's houses and take stuff.
That's right.
It's not a giveaway; it's a takeaway.
Let's just check in here with the comments for a second. We got Ken dropping in to say hi from Toy Connections. And then we've got folks from the Meyer family. Hello, Adam, Andy, Wes. I'm Ethan from the Meyer family. Hello, Ethan. Thank you for hanging out with us.
And Nathaniel are two little buddies of mine, and they actually helped me. My newest video is dropping on.
Oh, that's
Saturday.
Awesome.
So they're going to make I don't want to say a cameo appearance. I think they're going to steal the show. But
that's amazing.
Yeah. So there's some fun stuff coming up on Saturday.
Well, thank you everybody for who's joined us tonight. If you are just getting to the show right now, if you missed the intro, this is Tuesday Night Random Fandom. So it's any pop culture news, any pop culture or entertainment properties that have caught your attention, maybe in the last a little bit of your that you can recall. We're talking anything and everything from movies to celebrities, toys, and everything in between. So
I'll say this to start us off.
Sure.
To be so bold.
Yeah, be bold.
I'm usually a pretty positive guy. I like to be happy. I like to fill my life with people that bring me joy and things that bring me joy.
Me too.
Try not to be angry at all, but I've been angry since Sunday. A little bit underlying anger.
Okay.
Because in all the years that we've had to suffer through, like Bale and Pattinson and Affleck, we could have had Michael Keaton being Batman. Right?
I didn't think we were going to get to the trailer this quickly, but we're here now.
Yeah,
we could spend a whole show on this. In fact, we might just do that.
Right. It's a real teeter-totter of emotion watching that trailer, because you're like, one of these guys is my favorite pop culture, like on-screen hero in memory, right?
Right.
Like, so I'm a Superman guy and I love Chris Reeve.
Yep.
But Michael Keaton's Batman was the first superhero movie I saw in a theater, and was
Same
like
here.
Right. The toys you got for Christmas, like, it's very attached to you. And to see him in the suit, and it's not like when Hogan wrestled his last match in TNA and you're like, get out of the ring. Don't do that.
It wasn't cringeworthy.
It's not Flair's last match. He's just being Batman to like a great degree. And so you have that, but then you also have like the Ezra Miller stuff, which it's kind of icky.
And so we just went through that today with our third co-host, who may or may not pop in tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's reminiscent of what's going on in the Harry Potter world right now with all of the hate towards Ms. Rowling, and they're taking it out on the latest video game, which I don't know how fair that is to the developers and to the artists who work on it. Certainly, on principle, I agree with you. If you choose not to support the corporate overlord that produces the thing because they send a clear message by continuing to work with certain people, but at the same time, if you do choose to support it, I also respect that, because, as I said before, there are many artists and many people that go into these productions, and certainly where The Flash is concerned, Ezra Miller is just one of them.
Right. And it wouldn't be fair to Mr. Keaton to take this movie from us because of Mr. Miller.
Well, is it the Flash movie, or is it just another Batman movie in disguise? I mean, we're getting two. There's also heard a rumor around this the other day that said that there are certain sequences for the film that have been removed because of the change of staff over at DC. The rumor is there's a third Batman in this movie. So not sure how that's going to work out.
Okay, let's do this. Wishing well. Someone came to you and said there's a third Batman in the movie.
Yeah.
Who do you wish it was?
Well, so I
wish they do it.
Well, the options are very slim, because they've already gone on the nose and they've said that Pattinson's Batman is now clearly an Elseworlds tale.
Yep.
And if we go back to the Tim Burton / Schumacher days, we are supposed to suspend disbelief and accept that Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, and George Clooney are the same Batman.
Right.
And only one of those actors is probably physically capable of showing up. And I don't want it to be Clooney.
Yeah.
It's got to be Christian Bale.
Okay.
It's got to be Bale's Batman.
So I would do, if it was me, because it's this year,
Yeah.
I would do an over-the-shoulder shot and use clips from Conroy's Batman voice work.
Oh, that would be.
Or if they went the other direction, and because we've done like running through multiverses before in multiple properties, have them just run through an animated universe and have Conroy's Batman just swinging through.
Yeah,
I mean, into the Spider-Verse. How many spider suits were in that?
Oh my God,
not enough. I want more spider suits.
Gaz is saying the Flash trailer, it dropped. I don't know. Is that sarcasm? Is that sarcasm or are things different on your part of the world? The Flash trailer dropped Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl.
It did, yeah. Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, if it's anything like Canada, sometimes they do change it for different viewing zones.
That is true. International trailers at different times and so on and so forth. Gaz, I heard that Ben is in it. Yes, sir. You are correct. Speaking of favorite,
he was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Telling Barry, don't screw it up.
Essentially, Batfleck is my no secret. If you've watched anything we've done before, Batfleck is my favorite on-screen or at least cinematic Batman. Keaton's a close second.
Yeah, no. So I think that Affleck was a great Batman, saddled with bad movies or like subpar movies. But he brought his A game. Like he came to work. Right. Same with Cavill.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah. The Henry Cavill thing, that's still upsetting for me, but you know.
So here's my, and I'll say this, I don't want to get in the soapbox and bash DC because I love DC.
No, I do like what they're doing.
But I think their biggest problem is there's just the refusal to stick with it. Right? They're constantly rebooting things, like even back with Brendan Routh and Superman Returns. Like he was a dynamite Superman.
Second that, but 100 times over, I second that.
Right? He just had a script that didn't have him punching anything.
Right.
But when they made Star Trek the Motion Picture and it was like abysmal, Wrath of Khan brought the A game.
It totally did.
But they stuck with it, and I feel like I think that Routh and Bale could have been a real cool shared universe.
Yeah, I mean that I'd have been okay with that. Now, but Brandon Routh got a bit of redemption though. He got that character, his version of Superman, got a redemption in the CW crossover event.
Yep.
And the Crisis crossover event, when they revealed that his version of the Kingdom Come Superman is his movie Superman.
Yeah.
So that was
the best thing the CW universe ever did, was that Brandon Routh, here's a little Christmas gift, you get to finish your movie.
It's the one time I actually paid. We stream everything, and when I say stream, I mean we legally stream everything. We pay for all of our services. But it was there was one show, and I want to say it was Supergirl, that didn't have a streamer at the time the event was happening. So it's the one time that I paid Google and I purchased the episode of Supergirl to complete the Crisis crossover.
Yeah.
So somewhere in my account, my personal account, I own one episode of Supergirl.
And the thing about the Routh performance, I could talk about Routh as Superman all day long.
Yeah.
But in that moment where he's playing like Kingdom Come, angry Superman, and then like possessed by Lex, angry Superman.
Yep.
You can tell he's having more fun than I've ever had in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Just losing it, right?
By the way, Brandon Routh has some of the softest hands in Hollywood. When we met him at Comic-Con and we got the handshake, and I was like, oh my God, like,
you moisturize.
Yeah. More than.
So
like, dude, you could be a hand model.
I don't know how accurate this story is. I know how accurate it is from my point of view.
Yeah.
In 2005, I was volunteering to work at Fan Expo. And so
sure. Yeah.
I was there, and they put me in the celebrity area, and that was the year Margot Kidder was there. And
so,
like 2 weeks before, they released the first image of Routh as Superman, where he was standing and so I said, like, oh, what do you think of the new Superman? And she's like, I haven't seen him yet. So I showed her a picture,
Right.
I feel like I was the first one to show Margot
Kidder
picture of Ralph. But her reaction was, "Oh, he does look like Chris. Oh, he does look like Chris."
Yeah.
And so it was I was more excited about Superman Returns coming out.
Oh, so was I.
Anything I've seen, and I've told the story on, I think it was on Zazel's channel before. But I went down to a church conference at a big church in Chicago called Willow Creek. It was an arts conference.
Yeah.
They had like 30,000 people that go there. And Ralph Winter goes there to their church. So he was there doing a thing about excellence and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was 2 weeks before Returns came out. And he's like, I actually have 300 tickets here from my buddy Brian. We have an early screening of Superman Returns here tonight. So in front of 20,000 people, I ran to the front of the stage and I was like, "Are you messing with me?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, can you please go away before security comes?" And then they're like, "Someone get this guy a ticket." So then we went and saw it that night. And it was one of the things where I watched it. And you guys ever do the thing where you go see a movie and all you want to do is love it? Like you just want to go there and you want it to be good more than anything?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, Andy, but I wear my fandom on my sleeve. Like it's out there for everyone.
Yeah. And so watching the movie, I was like, I know this isn't as good as I want it to be. I know that empirically, but it was just a lot of fun to be watching Superman in the theater again.
I was so happy to see Superman again. And I didn't even care that it was not as punchy.
Superman lifts a boat.
And you know what? And I would be one of those people that the savior thing never bothered me. I mean, it's Superman. Of course he is. What did you expect?
He was written by two Jewish fellows. Like what?
Right.
That's what he's a combination
of he's supposed to do. It's what he does.
Yeah. No, I was all in. I bought all those figures when they came out. I was like so jazzed for that movie.
Yeah. Oh, those figures. See, now that's where
2-foot one.
Oh, the Jacks, the big fig.
I had the big one.
Yeah,
I think that was like the first big fig was I think that one.
It may have been, in fact. I know somewhere over the course of running the store, we came into possession of the foam Bendham crowbar, the one that.
It made the rounds at Dollarama forever.
Oh my God! I hung it up on the wall just outside our bathroom, and people were like, "Why is there a crowbar there?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's a toy. It's a toy."
Yeah, but you're right. So those came in 2006.
Yeah,
and then like 2018, they showed up at Dollarama.
Yeah, like that had to be some kind of warehouse find somewhere that people went, "Oh God, what are we going to do with them?"
Yeah, because those came out, and then the Kryptonite slime was there as well.
Oh yeah. Gaz has a few comments. Brandon Routh was great. Movie script, not so much. And that he's the kingdom come is awesome. I agree with that.
Incredible.
With Superman, I'm always excited and all in on the film. Me too, including Man of Steel, by the way. So that brings me to the next point. Hopefully everybody that's with us tonight has seen the Flash trailer. If you haven't, please go watch it and come right back. I'll give you about 2 seconds before I launch into this next thing. How do we feel about the going back to the events of Man of Steel in the Flash?
So, Andy, you could go. Yeah, you were going to say something.
Based on James Gunn and what he's doing, Flashpoint's going to be the reset point, right?
Yeah.
So, is this just going back there just specifically to scrub it?
I don't know.
It's a nice inclusion to get, all the way back to where they kind of jammed Batfleck in there.
If that's really the case, then that is the most that either Warner Brothers knew long before Walter Hamada left that this was the case. But I think that movie was too far into development for them to pull that one out and sort of keep that one under wraps. I think this is if there is luck in the universe, they got super, super lucky that the movie was written the way it was, and it just ties succinctly with rebooting the DCU.
Yeah. No, so there was a part I didn't think I would pop as much as I did for that. Like in these trailers, ever since like Avengers and they're doing the crossovers and
sure,
you pop for these moments like it's almost like an Easter egg hunt.
Yep.
And so when I saw the World Engine, I was like, oh, they're going back there. Yep. And then I got excited because I'm like, is Superman going to be in this movie? Is Cavill showing up? And I was like, how do they do the World Engine without Cavill? But then I think it's like Flash is something, so Superman doesn't come there, and it's
as a multiversal thing. That's so many things you can do. I do like the gentle massaging of the. I mean, this is an adaptation of Flashpoint.
Yeah.
If you haven't read Flashpoint, it's probably one of the best Flash stories in print. By the way, it was my launch point for DC. I had always been a fan of the DC heroes, but Flashpoint, after that reboot to the New 52, that's where I'm like, okay, I'm going to start buying comics again. And I think I went through the entire run of New 52 Justice League because I couldn't afford to buy every single title every month.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, unapologetically New 52 fan here, but
no, that's you can, as long as you like it. That's
great. I do. And so I like the idea of Supergirl supplanting Superman in this. I think that's very cool.
Yeah, but can we have them both? Can't they both be there? Can I just have some Cavill, please?
I do. I hear you on that. And I mean, Henry Cavill, I have to say, he's probably my Superman. He's my Superman for sure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He was great. Again, is that, and even with Man of Steel being like him killing Zod and like all the destruction, to me that was a movie where he was learning how to be Superman.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So that's what that movie was. Now BVS got a real, like, that movie for me. I didn't love that story arc, and again, it was good actors in there doing stuff.
Yep.
I don't like a movie where a 30-second conversation can fix the whole thing. The
warehouse sequence with Batman.
So
Martha.
Yeah, give me more of that.
Yeah.
But if Superman just flew over to Gotham, was like, "Hey, I'm good," and Batman's like, "Oh, me too." He's like, "Oh, cool. Let's both be good and go get Lex."
Yeah.
Right.
Let's just talk to each other.
Right. They actually, what I would have done if I was making a Batman versus Superman movie,
sure,
is word for word take the script from the Bruce Timm animated Superman Batman.
Yeah.
And just make it shot for shot. Have the Joker stealing a kryptonite dragon. Just do it.
And it would be easy enough to do. I guess that's sort of the. I mean, did you guys see the animated Flashpoint Paradox?
Yes.
Yeah. I love that run of DC animated.
It's so good. I mean, the animated Flashpoint Paradox, I would say is probably one of the better animated offerings from DC.
Yep.
I don't know how close it stacks up to the comic book. What do you think, Andy?
It's pretty good.
Like, I am interested to see like how it compares to the live action film. I don't expect the live action film to be a faithful,
spot on. Like,
I don't want it to be with everything we've seen in this trailer. I don't want it to be faithful. I just want it to be a good movie.
Just give me a good movie, right? And
yeah.
So, and you wonder at the end of this who the in-world Batman's going to be. Oh, Gaz just watched the trailer.
Just watched it. The emoji says it all, Gaz.
Yeah.
I hope that's a positive. Woo.
Gaz is always a pretty positive guy, so I imagine it's a positive. Woo.
There's so much going on there. You talk about watching a trailer like it's like you're just looking for Easter eggs. Probably about the fourth or fifth time I went through it, and I slowed it down and kind of tried to go through it a couple frames at a time.
And then the Bat Cycle.
We
could have just watched a couple
the rest of the trailer. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It took me 2 or 3 viewings before I realized that particular suit is blue and gray. It's not black and gray.
Yeah, well, have you seen the shot of all the bat suits?
Yes, the Batman's Hall of Armor.
Yeah, that's a great walk through DC history right there. There's some moments.
Thank you to Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse, the most beard on the internet at one time.
Right, exactly. It's almost like stages of beards, like stage 1,
right.
Stage 2, stage 3, right? So we get there.
I should have run a brush through it before we went live tonight.
So based on the internet reaction to Michael Keaton,
yeah,
can this act as just a jump off point for Batman Beyond?
Oh man, why? You're gonna break my heart.
Like,
here's a question
been saying it for years.
So since '93, people have been saying like, well, Michael Keaton should play the old Batman and give Terry the suit.
Yeah.
And then I watched his trailer and I was like, no, he shouldn't. He should just play Batman.
He's still good enough to be Batman.
True.
Yeah, like just
but the look in Spider-Man.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I do.
No, like it would work. It would be great. But I think he can do both. Make a movie where you age him up a little bit, and he's Batman Beyond, or that, and then make a movie where he's making Batman movies here. Like he can do both.
Yeah, I mean, and dual role, man. Like give him both hats.
Yeah.
It gets even more heartbreaking when you know that at one point before the Nolan trilogy, that a Batman Beyond movie was on the books.
Was it?
Yeah, and unfortunately for reasons, got dropped, and then they went with the Nolan trilogy.
There was that whole Justice League movie that who's the Australian guy? Mad Max.
Yeah.
What? Mel Gibson?
No. Frank Miller.
Not Frank Miller.
Not Frank Miller. Oh, sorry. No. No. Mad Max. Oh my lord.
I love those movies.
The director.
He did Babe Pig in the City.
That's right. Which is so contrasting.
Through Snowy River.
Why am I not remembering the guy's name?
It'll come to me. But anyways, he was going to do a Justice League movie, and it was like all ready to go, and then there was the writer's strike.
Oh,
that would have been great.
It absolutely would have been great. You know, it makes you wonder, like, of all these, how many of these things never get made, and what happens to those scripts? Do they just end up dying and sitting in some dude's desk?
George Miller.
That's it. George Miller.
Well, a lot of them become fodder for Kevin Smith narratives.
Okay. Would you guys be pro or no for a cameo with Nick Cage as Superman in this movie?
No. Solid no.
Even if he's like running through the time stream and it's just like a little flicker?
Okay, so from that perspective where it's very clearly tongue in cheek?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just have him fly by.
If he gets a speaking part, I will punch a child. No, I won't do that. No, I might.
Amazing, though. I would like to see like the Judge Judy trial. Like, sir, you punch this child, and you're like, yeah, Nick Cage is Superman. Takes the Smith, just throws it.
Exactly.
Totally gets it.
Nick Cage showed up as Superman, and I got so angry I punched the nearest kid. I get it.
You had it coming.
I mean, Mr. Cage, your thoughts?
This cannot be your Superman, young man.
Exactly. But this to me is the movie to do things like that. Like if you're gonna throw a tongue-in-cheek moment away, this is the movie to do it in.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, the Flash, I mean, if anything, with the CW Flash, and we can explore that a little bit further. If anything, that show captured the light-hearted nature of Barry Allen.
Yeah.
And something that I think the features could take a bit of a hint from.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially those first few seasons where he was just having fun being the Flash.
Yes. Yeah. How fast can I go? I don't know.
Right.
The last couple seasons have been kind of like really emo Flash, but
but he used to be like bookended with Arrow, so Arrow was very serious and heavy.
Yeah.
Flash was
the fun one.
Yeah. And I mean, Arrow, I stuck with Arrow right to the end, and it was hard. And like you said, for those first few seasons, I was all in on the Flash. In fact, I actually thought that Flash at one point was the better show, but the whole Team Arrow formula, it got old. And oh my God, even I made a point when the actors start bailing out. Okay. It's lost its steam.
Well, I think they were also the detriment of Arrow. Hey, the Retro Tinker's here. That
Retro Tinker. Hello.
What a beaut. We got some legends in the chat here.
Nice.
Gaz has got a good point. Let me pull this up here for a second. Gaz is saying Keaton can still play Bats. Besides, Gunn says that the DCU will go from live action film to animated to TV shows, and they will all be connected with the same actors playing the roles. So true.
That scares me a bit. Like, because he's already laid the groundwork for his Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
But if that's all getting flushed down the toilet, what are you going to do now?
Wait, is he flushing Peacemaker down the toilet though?
I don't know for sure. I thought it was getting greenlit for a second season.
There is a lot of there has been some discussion. I won't say there's a lot because that's subjective. There has been some discussion in the fan community that has said that James Gunn might be favoring actors and people that he's worked with to stay on board while he is axing all the people that he has not worked with.
So that's what I've heard. If he's had his hand in the pie, that cinematic universe is staying, right?
I don't know if I believe the latter half of that he's just cutting people for the sake of cutting them, because I've never worked with you.
But so there's the Booster Gold Chris Pratt rumors, eh?
I'd be okay with that. I mean, he's got the comedic chops for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Booster Gold is like my second favorite DC hero. He is so fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Slaughterhouse, Gunn is keeping his stuff right.
Yeah.
I don't think I disagree with that. I think it's hard. I mean, we talked about this last week. Yeah. James Gunn and Peter Safran making the media rounds, talking about what's going on at Warner and DC in general. And to some, you might think that both of them are slagging the old guard, if you will. But it's got to be hard to be in those positions, to be in the public eye, and to give commentary on that stuff when suddenly you're the one who's basically got the keys to the car.
Yeah. And also, when the last time they gave somebody the keys to the car, it stalled a bit, right? It turned out to be a bit of a DeLorean. The engine didn't match the outlook. So there's a lot of pressure there.
I don't want to make it a big thing, but I think there's also people forget that there was a massive tragedy in that man's family in the middle of his cycle, and I think that may, in fact, have partially contributed to the derailment, if you will.
Yeah. But if you look at Snyder's body of work, before the DC universe,
right,
when he was under direction, it was good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When he was left to his own devices, it was questionable. Right?
Fair.
Like I don't think anybody came back from Sucker Punch being like, "Hey, that was a good movie. We should watch more Sucker Punch." I think that was a bit of a head scratcher, and that was his like passion project, right? They said, "Give us 300 and Watchmen, and you can have a movie to do what you want."
Yeah.
I think some guys are better with a leash on, and I think they took the leash off of Snyder a bit.
It's why personal. This is my own personal opinion. This is not the position of our show. It's why the sequel trilogy for Star Wars hurt, because there was no overarching supervision to say this is the story from here's the big opening plot beat and here's where it needs to get to. What you do in between is fine, but nobody had that. I don't think anybody had that conversation.
Like a story group type thing.
Yeah. Wow. Star Wars story group? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
To me, not to go too deep into Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, but I think the thing that the one thing they did wrong, like I don't care what Rey did, I don't care what Finn did.
Nope.
But our childhood heroes didn't get their happy ending.
No, they did not. No,
not a one.
Not. Yeah.
Right. Han and Luke, it was revealed, didn't stay together. There was like a breakup there, or not Han and Luke, Han and Leia.
And Leia, yeah.
Luke was like gonna kill his nephew, and then wasn't, and then like nobody got to like no one got the victory they deserved from the sacrifice they made in the original trilogy.
When Mark Hamill says, this isn't the character that I played, I take that to heart.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Yeah,
I really do. But he's professional.
From a guy who speaks, geek, right? Like he loves as much as us.
I mean, he's got one of the best Twitter accounts going.
Exactly. Now, go back to the Flash, but
yes.
Have you guys seen the leaks of the toys that are coming out?
All I saw was the official promo image from McFarlane, which just showed off the Flash figure itself. I didn't see anything else.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it yet.
So I haven't seen any of the McFarlane stuff. And when my toy collecting, and I love toys that are meant for kids. Those are the ones that I collect, and from my childhood, and those are the ones I love seeing in stores.
Yeah.
So the Spin Masters have released a couple images, and there's like a Flash and Batman and a Batwing kind of.
Oh, okay.
Whatnot. So it's really good. I think this, in a perfect world, the perfect Flashpoint toy line would be if they gave it to Hasbro and they released it under the Kenner banner. And it was just like the Batman Returns buck.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. That'd be cool. That'd be super cool.
that scale and that 5 points of articulation and that look. Because what it would do is, I'm not a modern collector. I'd buy every one of those figures because it's a continuation of a line that used to be.
Line, yeah.
And kids today would love it as well.
And collectors everywhere would still find something to complain about.
Yeah, they would. But as long as the kids love them, they'll stay on shelves.
So again, yes, that is a case totally true.
Need that new generation.
Kids gotta buy into it.
Get into toys. Stop playing with.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the Flash, we can all agree, was probably the man. We had a list of trailers that were supposed to drop during the Super Bowl. What happened? Were they all there? I looked at the list again earlier this week, and I don't recall seeing.
Guardians was there, and the Fast X was there.
Guardians was pretty underwhelming,
and so was the Indiana Jones.
Also pretty underwhelming, but I think for different reasons.
Yeah,
I think Disney's holding that one close. What's that?
I'm nervous about Indiana Jones. I'm nervous. So this is gonna sound weird, and I'll say it, but I'll say it. And I'm okay with it sounding weird. I think part of the reason that the sequel trilogy for Star Wars and even Crystal Skull, kind of give you a weird feeling, is I'm used to watching my Indiana Jones movies with a bit of a glaze from like 80s cinema. It's almost like the digital footage is too clear.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah.
Right. And it's a different experience now. And we're taking old properties, putting them in this, and it doesn't feel the same. And I feel like everything that they did in all the Indiana Jones movies, like it happened. If they wanted to have a thuggy village, they built
time.
Right. So those effects never age. Right. If you watch, one of my all-time favorite movies is The 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas.
I was just thinking about that movie the other day.
It is brilliant. And they went to like Iceland to film it.
Yeah.
And so all of those scenery shots and all of like the village they built, that'll never look old because it existed.
True.
Right? Like if you look at Conan the Barbarian, all that stuff never ages because it looks real, because it is real.
Yeah.
If you watch Hollow Man, you're like, ooh, this is rough.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to go back and watch early. I don't want to say early because Hollow Man wasn't that wasn't that leading edge in terms of CGI, but
right.
Or maybe it was at the time. I don't remember.
Yeah. But so speaking of George Miller, I remember the weekend that Age of Ultron came out.
Yep.
And Fury Road came out. They both came out in the same weekend. And so I took my kids to go see. No, I went with some buddies to go see Mad Max because I love those movies. And it was incredible. You guys saw it. It was like, you're like, this is all, they did it. They just drove cars in the desert. And then the next next day I took my kids to go see Avengers Ultron, and I was like, oh, it looks like a movie, like a cutscene from a video game.
Yeah.
Like you don't feel the weight that was once there. And so that's when I watched the Indiana Jones trailer. That's what I'm seeing. It's like, there's a lack of, it's like the uncanny valley happening a little bit, and you're just going to accept it.
Well, I don't mean to I don't want to change subjects, but you want to talk about uncanny valley and video game cutscene. Has anybody seen the new Avatar in 3D?
I definitely have.
I have as well, and I'm not kidding when I say that I was 5 minutes into the movie before I realized this is not an ad for a video game.
Yeah.
That's how whoa, it was so I'm glad that the 3D glasses are dark because that was hard. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I actually did. I actually thought it story-wise was okay.
Yeah.
Visually, it was stunning. It's the blockbuster it was meant to be. But wow, it's a 3-hour video game cutscene.
Have you read Robert Rodriguez's book on filmmaking?
I have not.
No. Oh, so it's brilliant. It's all about, I think what was it called? The Turtle, the Guitar Case, and the Bus. Those are the 3 things he had when he made El Mariachi.
Oh,
he's like, I looked around the room. I said, what do I have? I got a guitar case, I got a pet turtle, and I got a school bus I can use. Now I'll make a movie about those things.
I'll make a movie.
But so he said, you can trick the audience into thinking your movie is more vulgar than it is. So he says, if you put nudity, violence, and swearing in the first 10 minutes of the movie, people will think that the entire movie is vulgar, and kids will want to go see it. And he says, but it's actually in 10 minutes, so it doesn't get you the X rating or whatever it is. You can kind of get with the PG-13 or the light R.
You can have one F-bomb before it becomes an R.
Right. So he says, but you can trick the audience, you put it all at the front.
Yeah.
And so when I watch the new Avatar, in the first 10 minutes, all this 3D stuff is coming at you. And then it slows down.
Big time. Yeah.
And then it slows down with the rest of the, so I was like, oh, so they wanted to pop real fast.
Yep.
And
then
it did. And they did.
So I was like, did.
Yeah. So when I came home, I was like, the 3D was incredible. And then I was like, for the first 10 minutes. And then
I mean, so I'm man, when 3D movies became the thing, what, back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, I guess. I said Avatar was the gold standard of 3D movies up to as late as 2014, by the way. I stood by that. And once again, Avatar: The Way of Water has now superseded that. It is now the gold standard of 3D movies.
I agree with you with one exception.
Do you do the flip test a lot when you're watching these things?
So I do.
I do lots, tons. Like throughout the whole movie, I'm doing is it flat here? Is it not? So there was nothing flat in that movie.
My wife hates 3D movies, hates them with the passion. So I take a second set of glasses.
Okay.
Pop out a second lens and then give her two right lenses. So she puts glasses on and make it 2D.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I would say to you with the gold standard comment.
Yeah.
With the exception of Carl Urban's Dread.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah.
That movie perfectly did 3D because nothing popped. It just looked deep.
We've had this conversation before. I think we talked about it.
I think I commented on it one time.
I think so, because the thing with Dread was the way that they used 3D. They used it sparingly, and they used it to sort of amplify the drug effect. Whenever they took and I can't remember what the drug was called, but whenever they used the inhaler, everything slowed down and the 3D got really, really deep as they were all like stoned out.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel. 3D for me needs to occupy the same space that a film score does. It needs to be part of the storytelling and not just in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first modern 3D movie that came back was, remember that My Bloody Valentine?
Yep.
The remake.
Yeah, I think the remake was the first time they're like, we're bringing 3D back.
You saw that, Andy?
I believe so.
I know I didn't. So admittedly, I am not the horror fan. You're the horror guy. You have to take all those comments. Let's check in with the speaking of comments, let's check in the comments here for a second. We've got a friend of ours, Morgan Donaldson, joining us, local guy here, not too far away. Canning the Snyderverse because it'll be too difficult for fans to see the characters beyond the original storyline and Snyderverse characters. To reboot the DCU properly, you have to start at ground zero. Peacemaker wasn't really in the Snyderverse despite the cameos at the end of season 1. Yep, I can buy that.
Yeah, you never did get to see Cavill.
Sure.
You just got their silhouettes.
Yeah. Retro Tinker, I hadn't given much thought to the new Flash movie, but the trailer made it look pretty decent. Sure does.
Yeah.
Gaz got some love for the 13th Warrior, as we all do. By the way, best way, we talked about this in one of our Star Wars reviews, the way that they used language in that movie when they had Antonio Banderas' character studying them around the campfire, and they just start peppering in a single word of English and then 2 words, and then finally by the end of it, what a great way to convey that he's learning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hollywood, take some notes.
Yeah. I did a podcast with Movies, Films, and Flicks.
Yeah.
About that movie. And we were talking, it's like, we should start doing the movie or the podcast like in French, and then start peppering in English words here and there. And then by 5 minutes in, we're speaking English. And they were like, yeah. And it's like, can you speak fluent French? I was like, no, can you? He goes, no, I can't either. So we couldn't do it.
One more from the Retro Tanker. I don't see 3D movies anymore because my wife hates wearing 3D glasses over her regular glasses, and it's not worth bothering with contacts. That's so fair too.
But do you remember like around 2012 when like the 3D really hit its stride? You couldn't see a movie in 2D. Everything was 3D.
Everything was 3D.
It was like Kate and Leopold in 3D. Like
I stopped paying attention. I shouldn't say I stopped. I became less invested in 3D movies when I realized that more movies, because there was a while there when the in thing was to shoot in 3D. And then suddenly overnight it was like, nope, it's all post conversion now. Nobody's really shooting in 3D anymore. So, and there is definitely a difference. And Avatar kind of, exemplifies that one.
What was that comment on the Big Bang Theory? Oh, 3D, they must have real faith in it.
Slaughterhouse 3D TVs. Oh, that didn't last long. No, I guess it really didn't. Yeah. And active 3D or passive 3D. My glasses are so dang heavy because I got batteries in them.
Yep.
I got to plug them in and charge them up.
Well, we're living in this weird era too. So I remember, technology happens so fast that like sales guys don't know anything about it. So I remember buying my first flat screen TV in like 2005.
Plasma screen.
Well, I said, do I go plasma or do I go LED?
Yeah.
And the sales guys they haven't been around long enough to know which one lasts longer.
We don't know.
We don't know. Just guess. I don't know. Like if they're both flat, I guess. And I was like, oh, no one really knows. And so things are happening so fast that you're like, is this technology going to be around next week? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Turns out LED won that war.
Red rays.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, red rays. Oh, so HD DVD.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So I was that fool. So this, you know what this boils down to? And I blame it on this. It was PlayStation versus Xbox. That is the only reason why.
Yeah.
I was a PlayStation guy right up to and including to the very last days of the PlayStation 2. Like we all were, the best selling video game console in history.
I still have it in my on my TV right now, PS2.
Nice.
When Microsoft and Xbox backed HD DVD and released, by the way, the release of the Xbox 360 just killed the PlayStation 3 as far as I'm concerned. Xbox 360 really stole a lot of people. They made a peripheral for the 360, the HD DVD player. I totally bought that thing, and I think HD DVDs may have got 12 more months after I bought the thing, and it was dead in the water.
Yeah. Remember how tempting it was though when HD DVD was gone? Like you knew it was over.
Yeah.
You go to like Giant Tiger.
They're $2.
They're $2. You're like
$2.
I don't like. Oof. Troy on HD DVD for $2. Maybe I'll buy an HD DVD player.
Good point here. At one point, it was cheaper to buy a PlayStation than it was to buy a Blu-ray player.
Yeah,
you know, that's legitimately how I convinced my my first wife. We were still on VHS at the time, and I'm like, "Hey, there's this thing coming out. It's the PlayStation 2. It's kind of like the PlayStation, but it'll play
movies."
Oh, sorry, the PlayStation 3 would.
Yeah,
did the PS2?
It had
play
DVD.
Blu-rays? Did it play Blu-rays?
No,
it played DVDs. No, you are correct.
Yeah, you got the remote conversion kit.
That's how I convinced my wife to let's swap formats and go to this DVD thing, whatever that's going to be.
I remember like the internal struggle of switching to DVD because like it's everybody now is a movie guy, right? You talk to anybody, they're like, oh, I love movies. I had like in high school a crazy VHS collection, like 500 VHS tapes in my bedroom. Just like I would just buy tapes all the time. All my extra money went to buying VHS tapes. I wanted to see every movie all the time. Like that's the life I wanted to live. And so then I remember moving into my first apartment when I first got married and having just this wall of VHS and looking at it and being like, I think I need to go DVD. Like I think DVD
storage alone. Look at how much space I'm going to save.
And then what happened was I was working at an oil change place. I was managing an oil change place, and the owner said like if I could do a certain number, a certain sales number, that there would be an incentive. And so he showed up at my house with a PS2 and the largest tube screen TV I've ever seen.
Nice.
I think it was 48 inches of tube. So I was
it needed like 6 people to carry it, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And then so I was like, and he had bought me a couple of DVDs with it, and I was like, oh, I guess we're DVD people now. I guess this is we're all in.
Yeah. Retro Tinker. Yep. My first Blu-ray player was a PS3 because it was half the price of a Blu-ray player. And the PS3 was a pretty decent Blu-ray machine. It really was. I think I still have one out there.
I still play mine.
Man, do you guys remember the first DVD you bought? Because when they were coming out, they were few and far between.
I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
No, I don't. I can remember my first Blu-ray. I cannot remember my first DVD.
I can remember my first CD too.
I definitely don't remember that.
Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits.
My first CD was Green Day Insomniac.
Nice.
Oh.
Not Dookie, the follow-up. But So we got the DVD player, and I ran out and said, I want to get DVDs now. But they weren't everywhere. It was like select movies were on DVD. It was not. So I bought the Christopher Reeve Superman movie.
Yep.
And Dude, Where's My Car? Those were the ones I picked.
First Blu-ray for me, because that's the only one I can remember, believe it or not, was just a crappy old first release of Top Gun.
Yeah, there is no crappy version of Top Gun.
It was a plain Jane. It was as plain Jane Blu-ray as you could get. No special features, no special packaging, no remastering. That just here's the VHS transfer. Maybe they cleaned the negative and reprinted it, but it was nothing to write home about.
Warner Brothers DVDs in the cardboard case.
Yeah,
those were a lot of just like straight VHS transfers. Like it wasn't a whole lot better to get that DVD.
Yeah, I'll tell you though. Now that we're talking about that, talk about cheap Blu-rays. The first Blu-ray release of Die Hard might be one of the best audio and video transfers of all time. And it was the best $8 Blu-ray I ever bought.
Zazel just said in the chat, remember DVD Easter eggs? He misses those days.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. Where is it? Here we go. DVD Easter eggs. Yes. Yeah.
Remember there was a National Treasure DVD that came out, and there was so many puzzles you had to figure out. You could unlock different things. I played it for like an hour, like trying to find all the different puzzles for National Treasure.
Zazel says Castaway was my first DVD, I think. Good film.
Natural Born Killers was mine.
Life Force, first DVD, Life Force.
That's a bold first DVD choice.
That is a deep cut.
Yeah. Wow. So what was the first? Okay, here's a question for you. We're talking about old mediums now. That's what we're doing.
Oh, why not? We can talk about whatever we want. It's our show.
What was the first DVD feature or advantage that blew your mind going from VHS to DVD?
I don't have to rewind it.
Okay.
It was the same reason why, like, for me, it was the logical thing to do. I hated, how how many cassette tapes I wore out trying to get to the song I wanted to listen to.
Yep.
Same thing with VHS. I don't want to rewind the darn thing. It's just, call me lazy, but like, if I want, and now considering what I do, hobby wise, instantly being able to access a particular scene in a film, that's worth its weight in gold to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think mine was the inclusion of all the extra features. Like sometimes you get a documentary or you'd get a bunch of trailers. And I remember you'd put it in and be like, okay, we're not done yet. We got to go through all the extras.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm that type. When I was still buying physical media, I typically would go for the extra special director's cut or stuff that had like cool packaging. Like I regret not getting the Nakatomi Tower edition of Die Hard to get the actual building replica. But like I bought for Man of Steel, I bought the Steelbook version because it came with the Superman the Shield can box, which I quite liked.
I still remember going into Music World when they were like still new.
Music World.
Yeah, there was a copy of The Rock.
Yeah.
With Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And Sean Connery, and it was going for $85.
Oh wow!
That's my favorite James Bond movie.
There's a whole fan theory on why it is a James Bond movie, and it's quite interesting.
So what blew my mind on DVD was, growing up, I loved Mad Max, and it was always on TBS. So I had like a TBS recorded version of it. I'd watch it.
With commercials.
With commercials. I can like distinctly remember like 1993 Popeye's chicken commercials because of watching Mad Max over and over again.
Yeah.
But then I bought a VHS copy of it in high school, and I was like, this is it. And then when the DVD came out, it was one of the first DVDs I got. But you put it in, and it would play the overdubbed American accents that we're used to. But if you flipped it over, it played the Australian original accent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they overdubbed it for North America. And then I was like,
I don't even know if I knew that.
Yeah, it's like a whole new movie. I'm like, listen to these guys talking with their Aussie accents. Because you
like, did they actually dub like actual like we're gonna VO the thing with different actors?
I think some were different actors. I know Mel Gibson did his without the accent.
He did, eh? Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, if you watch it on the original North American release, it just sounds like an American film.
That's
and
crazy.
Then so it was then that I was like, oh, all of a sudden the steering wheel's on the wrong side makes sense.
And why is it that Europeans can do North Americans, but North Americans cannot do Europeans?
I don't know.
It's awful. So awful. There's a lot of we got a lot of Retro Tinker director's commentary. That's actually coming up quite a bit. Zazel also says director's commentary. Yeah, I mean, do you guys have a favorite director's commentary? Is there a film that stands out for you? Best director's commentary?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So you want to go first, Adam?
The Roadhouse director's commentary.
Roadhouse
is amazing.
Yeah,
because nobody from the movie was willing to do it.
So wait, who did they get?
Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier.
Nice.
Oh no, I gotta go and find that now.
So
I gotta find that.
Kevin Smith made a joke about Roadhouse, and he's like, "Yes,
sure."
So then they just called him like, "Hey, you're a fan of Roadhouse? Do you want to come do the commentary?"
Roadhouse. So then, I can't help it. I have to.
So then it's just Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier for 2 hours.
Sure.
Making Chuck Norris jokes about Dalton.
Oh.
And anytime there's a beer joke, they say mullet. And it's like, what's underneath Dalton's mullet? Another fist. Like
another fist.
It's just 2 hours of that. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. And I'm a huge Roadhouse fan. I mean, there's nothing about that movie that I don't like. I love the overacting. I love how cornball. I love everything about that movie.
Watching it though, the sex scene, she seems really uncomfortable.
Well,
it was a rock wall that they were leaning up.
True.
Oh, here's a good one. Andy, we're going to get to you here in a second. Zazel says Sean Astin leaves partway through the Goonies commentary because he got the call for Lord of the Rings. Could be true.
There's also, if you listen to the commentary on Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, the Sam Jackson movie.
So Sam Jackson is doing the commentary until he dies in the film. He's like, okay, and then he leaves.
I'm out. It makes sense.
Yeah, he's got nothing going on.
I was not on the call sheet after that.
Yeah.
Let LL Cool J take over.
Andy, you got one? What's the best director's commentary for you? What do you think?
I actually don't have a best one. I very rarely go into them.
Do you? Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched one, but man, the earliest when they were still, you've all seen Highlander?
Yes.
When Highlander got its first DVD release, and they were calling it the European cut.
Yep.
So the director's commentary by Russell Mulcahy on that DVD might just be the best commentary I'd ever seen. Like, it's just Russell Mulcahy like watching the movie by himself and just like reminiscing about making the movie and just how good, talking about all those crazy transitions that we saw in the movie from the past to the future, how they did that. It was fantastic.
So when I met my wife when we were in college, I had come off dating a couple crazy people. And so I was tired of dating crazy people. So my friends were like, hey, there's this girl you should meet. And so I gave her Army of Darkness and The Highlander.
Oh, nice.
Said, watch these.
Yeah.
If you get it, we'll chat. And so then those are our most romantic movies. Those two.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, Highlander was my second DVD.
Is that right?
Yep.
So good.
Oh,
Scuba Pete's here.
Greetings from Scuba Pete. Hello, sir. Nice of you to join along.
Yeah. It's not good, but it's a little awkward. Director's commentary.
Sure.
Is the Buddy Holly story.
Oh, so really?
It was recorded like when Gary Busey was kind of like not at his prime. Yeah. But you can tell he just is reminiscent about the movie.
Yeah.
And whenever there's a musical number, he sings along.
Really?
And the director's like, oh, yeah. And he's like, hey, he's just like full out singing for the commentary. And just
he's invested.
Yeah, he's invested. He flashes back. And he keeps just singing along. Scuba Pete. What a beaut.
I took some time earlier this week. I just want to pause the conversation here for a second. We'll get right back to it. Guys, We're on WhatsApp. So if you're watching right now on YouTube or you're watching over on the Fandom Power Facebook page, the WhatsApp button is embedded right there for you on desktop. If you want to give us a call and actually talk about some of the entertainment stuff that's got you going lately, feel free to hit that button and call us up.
Like a call-in show.
Like an actual call. Yeah, we can take calls. We have the technology.
So I'm going to say something. It's pop culture, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I guess. But someone sent me a link. I guess Rosie O'Donnell was just on the Howard Stern show.
Okay.
And someone sent me the link. I don't know why they thought I would want to watch that interview. But when I saw the image, I thought it was Howard Stern talking to Louis Anderson.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So if you Google Rosie O'Donnell Howard Stern, that's all you'll see now in that image.
I'm not sure why it's funny. Maybe because isn't Louis gone now?
I believe.
I think we lost Louis a couple of years ago.
Maybe. Yeah, that's just what I saw, and I was like, Louis Anderson.
Or am I like
Rosie O'Donnell?
Am I having a Mandela moment here? I don't know.
It could be.
I don't know.
There was like 2 years where we kind of lost time.
Yeah. Well, I still feel like I'm still in some ways coming out of that.
Yeah, we did lose him.
We did lose Louis.
January 21st, 2022.
Okay, so it was last year. Okay.
Yeah, so it's fairly recent.
A little over, just over 12 months ago.
Yeah.
All right. Where do you want to go next, guys? I got a few notes I made, just things that stood out for me this week.
Hit me with it.
You guys did you guys watch the Stars cable series Spartacus?
I did not.
I did watch Spartacus, and it was so sad because
what really shocked me was Stars just ordered a revival, and Stephen DeKnight is coming back to run it.
Nice.
What? Wow! I thought they milked that.
Yeah.
They did it well. Like, it was good. It was essentially 300 meets Gladiator.
Big time.
TV. That's what it was.
Big time. Yeah.
But it was good. But they really milked it because they did season 1, and then unfortunately we lost
an actor. Yeah.
And that was heartbreaking because he was really good.
Andy Whitfield.
So then they made a prequel for season 2 because they're like
Sands of something.
Wasn't it Blood and Sand?
Blood and Sand, where we introduced Gannicus.
Gannicus, right?
Yeah, Gannicus.
And so they pivoted. They're like, we can't tell the Spartacus story anymore, so we're gonna go pre-Spartacus.
Right.
And then they went back to the Spartacus with a new actor who did a great job.
Liam McIntyre,
who
I think the few things I've seen him in after Spartacus, I mean, there's a guy that could have been if he just had the right
the right vehicle
and the right push. Yeah.
Good
actor. I mean, hats off to him for picking up the Spartacus role and carrying that torch to the end and doing it well.
But I think that lasted at least one season more than it should have. Like they really milked that story
and right to the end.
But they kept
the literal end.
Yeah, the literal end. So you're like, where do they go from there?
So there's no details on the revival yet, except to say that it's going to explore the lives of some of the characters from the original show. And I asked the question, who's left? Who's left, dude? Like, who are you gonna follow?
Okay.
Mandalorian's any indication, there's always more people to follow.
Here's who you follow. Here's who you follow. Remember season 1, the blonde guy?
Yep.
And he was there so he could pay for send money to his wife and kid.
So is that not the character that Jai Courtney played?
Right.
Yep.
His son.
Oh, that's an interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Right, because he hates the gladiators because of what they did to his dad, or some.
Yeah.
But that would
because Jai Courtney wasn't a slave. He had volunteered to do it. Yeah. Interesting.
So, no, but it's the kind of thing. If anybody can do it, the Knight can do it. He can milk some more story out of there.
Listen, I was a huge fan during the run of Spartacus. He was actually one of the few celebrities like that managed his own social media at the time. And so like, I remember commenting on the Spartacus Facebook about how fantastic the writing was. And he personally had responded to me at one time, which was enough for me as a fan to go, holy crap.
Right.
But yeah. I really appreciate that. So I was super excited when they gave him the keys to Pacific Rim.
So are we all Pacific Rim fans here?
I am.
I dug it.
I am.
Yeah, because that movie was just big robots punching stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what we need. I was amazed that it didn't do better.
If that's the closest thing to a live action Robotech movie that we ever get, I'll have to live with it.
Did you see the video out of Japan, what they actually built?
For the movie?
No, for over there.
The Gundam?
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I have seen that, yeah.
The moment in Pacific Rim where you realize he's got a sword.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a bit Power Rangery, but I want it so bad.
when they're dragging the container or the tanker ship through the streets and using it like a baseball bat, like,
yeah. Just give me more of this. Right. There was a couple of good robot movies that year, because that was the same year that Real Steel came out.
Real Steel, that was a total sleeper for me that I did not expect to deliver in the way that it did. And yeah.
Got him away from that Wolverine role a little bit.
Well, ultimately, not really, because guess what?
Yeah.
We all know.
He took a turn away from it. So.
No. Well, I like this comment here. Pacific Rim, heck yeah. Supergiant robots, Grendizer, go!
Right?
Yeah, totally.
Right? Just do it.
Totally. The sequel, the one that Stephen DeKnight did. I don't know what happened.
What, Uprising?
Yeah. The robots got just a little too fluid for me.
Oh.
They didn't move like robots. They moved more like mocap people.
Yeah.
And it's not that it was bad. It just was.
So my son actually prefers it to the first one.
Really?
Yeah. Uprising.
Where do you sit on that?
So I like the first one better because
Me too.
Like most first movies, it built the world.
Yeah.
And it was very much like rooted, like he'd be like 50 diesel ton engine. Like there was a reality to what was going on there.
Yep.
Where in the second one was just like, here's robots doing punchy things. But if you love robots doing punchy things, that second movie is a fun movie.
It is fun. It's totally fun. And I'm good with how they grew the world and how the characters related back to the original characters. Totally fine with that.
Yep.
In fact, I think the animated series over at Netflix may have actually done more for it than the film did, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's actually worthwhile. If you haven't checked that out, go and check that out. The Pacific Rim. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of the name of it.
I can't help you.
It works in the same way that the Tron animated series worked for Tron. By the way, Tron is back on. Tron 3 back on at Disney. Not a lot of.
Do you remember the Spin Master Tron toys that came out for Tron Legacy?
I do. They might have been some of the best action figures that Spin Master ever made.
They were fantastic.
With the hollow
hologram,
basically the little screens in them.
Yeah.
A little light up on the back.
I quite like that.
Yeah. No,
very much like that.
My son had a Tron Christmas one year, and it was all Tron. We got them all. It was incredible.
I am unabashedly probably the biggest Tron Legacy fan I know, and I know people who absolutely can't stand it. And I'm thinking it was probably one of the best sci-fi films that I'd seen that year in several years,
and maybe like the best. Maybe not it's one of the top 5 sequel improvements.
Yeah.
Right? Where
I
the
agree with that.
Overshadows the first one.
You couldn't have picked a better, you couldn't have got to better people to do your soundtrack for you. It's actually and I'm not a big electronica fan, but like that soundtrack, even the remixed soundtrack, it's in my, it's in my Spotify. I listen to it.
If you go back and check our top 10 list, it's on
it's definitely, that's true.
but sometimes a movie will surpass a genre of film, like of music for you. So like, I'm not a rap fan, but like the 8 Mile soundtrack reminds you of that movie, and you're like, that's a powerful soundtrack. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Soundtrack for me is at least 50% of the film, if not more, depending on what we're watching. So
yeah,
quite happy.
Do you remember Cull?
Yes. Cull the Conqueror.
The Conqueror.
So the I'm Conan's father, but I'm not. The Kevin Sorbo film.
Yeah. And so that movie came out. So growing up, Conan, Beastmaster, Red Sonja, I loved them so much.
Yeah.
Just watch them on repeat. Just those. Yep. And so when Cull the Conqueror came out, I was like, I get another one. We're adding to the canon. It's going to be fantastic.
Are we though?
And then it was like It was like generic metal was the soundtrack. It wasn't a score. And I was like, that ruined it for me. Just ruined it.
I think of Call the Conqueror and the relationship to Conan, those two characters, and I go, what happened?
Yeah.
This isn't. Oh, Scuba Pete. Interesting. Crawl.
Oh, Crawl.
Crawl and the Glaive, the crazy dagger throwing thingy.
I think that Crawl, we remember it fondly because it's from our childhood.
Yeah.
But if you watch it now, that movie doesn't know what it's doing.
No, it's awful.
It's like, is this Robin Hood? A little bit. Is it Star Wars? Kinda.
Okay. If you want, let's go back to the sword and sandal thing here for a second, because I'm a huge fan of the sword and sandal genre of the fantasy tropes. Long before Lord of the Rings.
Troy?
No. Long before Conan. Well, maybe not long before Conan. In and around that same time. It definitely falls into B movie territory. Hawk the Slayer.
So there was Hawk the Slayer and
Hawk the Slayer.
Ator the Fighting Eagle.
Okay.
Have you seen Ator?
I have not seen that.
No. I'm gonna spin you the plot here.
Okay.
And then tell me if you want. So it was one of those Italian sword and sandal movies.
Yeah. It had a De Laurentiis on it, did it?
Yeah, it had a De Laurentiis in the back there.
Sure.
And so baby was born with a mark as a chosen.
Whoa, wait a minute. This has sounded familiar already.
And so midwife took the baby away from the mother because the bad guys were coming to kill it because they wouldn't want. You get it.
The prophecy to be fulfilled.
And so then the baby was given to family who just had a baby girl, so they would appear to be twins. Flash forward 20 years.
Yeah.
So you have a strapping young barbarian and his sister. And they're in love, but they can't tell anybody. They can't do anything because they're brother and sister. And then their dad comes to them very excitingly and says, you know what? You guys are actually not brothers and sister. And they're like, well, fantastic. So then they get married, and then she gets kidnapped, and he's got to go rescue her. So that's the plot of Ator the Fighting Eagle.
I was great on the Willow, like you're leading it. I'm like, oh, it's Willow, and then no, it's really not.
No, it goes places where you're like, this isn't a thing here.
More like Star Wars. He kissed his sister.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow. Hawk the Slayer has probably one of the most over-the-top villains you've ever seen in the form of Jack Palance.
Nice.
Yeah.
He is so like, and I don't buy for a second that those two characters, that Hawk and I can't even think of the villain's name, that they're brothers, but they're supposed to be brothers. But he is like, man, the last thing Jack Palance I think of is like Curly in City Slickers. But man, he's Curly times a million.
Yeah.
In Hawk the Slayer. So like over the top. It is like it oozes. I don't even know what the word is. It falls into so bad it's good.
Almost.
Yeah.
So Curly mixed with his role from the 89 Batman.
Kind of. But you know what? To me, Hawk the Slayer fills an interesting space because as a Dungeons and Dragons fan and that kind, it was a Dungeons and Dragons movie before there was a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Well, remember Dragon Slayer?
One of my all-time favorite fantasy films, even with Peter McNichol.
There was also, I'm trying to remember what it was called. There was a fantasy sword and sandal movie, and I just remember the main guy had a sword that had 3 parallel blades on it, and then the blades like shot off the sword.
That's right. My gosh, what the heck? I know the one you're talking about.
I don't.
It had a real like weird wizard guy that was the villain.
I'm almost tempted. I'm tempted to look that up.
Yeah,
we got time.
It was great.
3
Sword and the Sorcerer?
Sword and the Sorcerer, that's what it was.
1982.
Sword and the Sorcerer, that is it.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. It's right up there with the Bakshi films. Bakshi did a bunch of stuff. Fire and Ice came out around this. Well, that was early.
Fire and Ice is a perfect movie.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I just mentioned to my buddy who was the same age as us. That
Ken is threatening to call the show. I think we should call his bluff.
That's not a threat. Do it.
Do it.
Find out if the WhatsApp works. We did test this ahead of time, I must say. We tested it the other day, and I did learn that I cannot use WhatsApp from desktop. I must answer it with my phone. So that being said, if you are going to call in with the WhatsApp button, folks, do understand that it is VoIP, so there will be a slight delay, but we're happy to take your calls. If you want to give us a call, hit the embedded WhatsApp button over on the banner on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. We're here on WhatsApp talking about sword and sandal movies.
Right? So good. I was saying that sword and sandal movies were awesome because when you watched a knight movie like Excalibur, the fighting was so clunky because of those suits of armor.
I did love Excalibur, though.
Excalibur was great unless the knights were fighting each other, because it was like clunk clunk and they're like stumbling around. It was.
I'm gonna take this call right now. It looks like we got a call coming in.
He says bluff being called in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, you're live with Fandom Power. Who are we talking to? You want to bet that my phone's not connected? Do I get the right button up?
I don't
know.
I'm so excited right now.
Hello. Hang on a second here. I'm going to try and let me see if I can do this right. Oh my gosh, we might have had a complete failure of the technology.
He called our bluff and we lost.
I blame Ken.
You know what's going to happen? I think I know what happened.
I don't.
I think it's the communication protocol between the phone and my mixer. That one got turned off and not the other. So they are not communicating at the moment.
Boo.
That's awful. Well, I apologize for that blunder.
That's all right. Now, while you're doing that, I will segue from Excalibur was great, but the best movie about a knight was a little film called Lady Hawk.
Oh, Lady Hawk, so good. If I hold the phone up to the microphone, you might be able. Let's see, who are we talking to?
Hi, is this Domino's Pizza?
It sure is.
The hell it is, and we don't deliver to your part of the country.
Awesome. So I need a large pizza with anchovies and pepperoni, and there's a really handsome delivery guy on staff named Adam. I need him to be the one to deliver it to my door, and there'll be like a 45% tip.
45% tip.
Door for me.
Oh,
that's about it.
If he does a tap dance at the door.
So if the pizza's $18,
regulations and everything. All right, then you can leave the name under Ralph the Muppet, like spelled just like the Muppet. Yeah,
Rolf.
Yeah. Ignore the name on the actual credit card when the person pays. The person who answers the door will be in a stormtrooper mask.
Sure, just give us your credit card number now.
He'll sound exactly like me, but he might not be me.
Ken, I want you to hang fire for just a couple seconds here. I'm gonna try something very risky, and I'm gonna do a hard restart on the mixer to see if we can get you connected properly here. Just hold on for a few seconds. Here we go. If it falls apart, we will come back. I promise. Hang on. Here we go. Adam, can you hear us now?
I can hear you now.
Are we back?
There we go.
We're back.
Now, let's just if Ken, are you there?
No, Ken.
Oh, it did not work. Okay, so that is something we're gonna have to work on for the next one.
There you go. So we got Payne's toy sample is confirming that Lady Hawk is fantastic.
All right, so let's just put that aside for now. Let's get back to that. Okay, so where are we at here? Oh wait, I like this one. I'm blaming Ken for stuff today too. Okay, that is fair.
Yeah.
Lady Hawk is fantastic. Okay, so Matthew Broderick before he killed the person, I guess.
Right.
No, great show. Rutger Hauer, Michelle Pfeiffer. I love that movie. Love that movie. Have you seen it, Andy?
I don't believe so.
It's pretty cool. It's a star-crossed lover kind of thing.
And
it's
the
very
soundtrack is on point.
Yeah, because isn't that like wasn't it like a real band?
Yeah, like Tangerine Dream.
Tangerine Dream. Yeah, that's right. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a blast from the past.
So I watched that movie having no idea what it was. So back in the 80s, not everybody. Well, my cousins lived down the road, and they'd rent a movie on Friday night, and if it was good, they'd bring it up for us to watch on Saturday.
Right.
So they would just say, "Here, this is good. Watch it." And so we're like, "Okay." So we put it on, and I had no idea what Lady Hawk was.
Yeah, yeah.
And that first time that the moon set, I was like, "What is happening right now?" It's incredible.
I admit I love that film, and there was a period of time where, like, if you had done like every fantasy casting that we'd ever done, I had a spot for Rutger Hauer in everything. I liked him so much.
So I'm a continuous guest on Movies, Films, and Flicks.
Yep.
And one of my recurring gimmicks is I always pick Rutger Hauer movies.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We just did Blind Fury.
I think I've watched it in the last, I wouldn't say 12 months, maybe the last 2 years. I think I've seen it.
Andy, are you familiar with Blind Fury?
I do not believe I've seen that one.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's kind of cool.
So here's my theory.
Yep.
Very easily, with just a name change, that could be the Daredevil in the Dolph Lundgren Punisher universe.
I would buy that.
Right?
I would totally buy that. Yep.
Just let that sink in for a second. It'd be perfect.
Well, I have seen that one.
The 80s was a great time for the fantasy genre. It really was.
Yeah. Are we Beastmaster fans in this room?
I'm a Beastmaster fan. I'm going to just stick with the Rutger Hauer thing just for 1 second, because fantasy cast, it's Rutger Hauer is my fantasy cast for Magneto in an X-Men film. It's Rutger Hauer at his prime, of course.
Yep.
But yeah, my fantasy cast for him. Yes, Beastmaster. 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, so
because nothing exists after 1.
No. So here's the thing. Here's where Beastmaster goes off. It's a multiverse, because in the first movie, which is perfect.
Yep.
Perfect movie. Rue is a panther. In the second movie, he's a tiger.
Yeah.
And in the third movie, he's a lion.
It just doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's all they could get at the time.
Even the hand mark is different in part 3. And like, could you not just watch the first 2 movies and just get the hand mark right?
Yeah. Gaz has a good question. Blind Fury, was that Sho Kosugi in that as well?
100%.
So I mean that is every 80s ninja movie ever made. Sho Kosugi was in all of the best of them.
And there's that great line where the villain is like, "Give me Bruce Lee," and they're like, "Bruce Lee's dead, sir." And it's like, "Well, give me his brother." And that's when Sho Kosugi comes in.
I really loved Beastmaster for the supporting cast. What's her name? Carrie, can't think of her name. Played Donna's mother on that 70s show.
Yeah.
But more so, oh my gosh, Rip Torn with his crazy prosthetic nose, who obviously went on to play the head of the Men in Black.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God, JJ's dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say the dad from Good Times.
Such a fantastic. He's so good in that movie. Like
everybody, even the kid, and usually kid actors in fantasy movies seem out of place. That kid was perfect.
Yeah. No, he was good. I don't know why he didn't get more roles like that, more action roles. I don't know if he just didn't.
James Avery was his name.
Yeah. James Avery. No, isn't James Avery? That's Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You know, when you think you call yourselves fans of something, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just know him as the guy from Beastmaster because he's fantastic.
Yeah, Mr. McDowell from Coming to America.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's something about the pacing of the Beastmaster where it's like it's go, 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 go. There's no like long rest. You just like it's
yeah. There really isn't a whole lot of in the D&D terminology. There's no resting per se.
No,
and
again, the practical effects that don't age. So like the ring with the eye in it doesn't age.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's good, right? You watch it today, you're like, it's real, it's there.
All right, I got another point I want to bring up. This one is a little more.
Yes, it's John Amos.
John Amos, that is right. Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah,
there it is.
So I used to, as a kid, sorry to cut you off, get right back.
Go for it.
I would take Skeletor's belt off of him.
Yep.
And put it on He-Man and take He-Man's armor off, and then would be the Beastmaster.
That totally makes sense. I totally buy that too.
Customizing at an early age.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we all aware that Amazon and Sony are working together on a Spider-Man Noir live-action television series?
I've heard rumblings.
So that came out. That was announced sometime in the last week or so.
It's probably not going to be Nick Cage, though, is it?
Again, little details on this one. This one is being written by Oren Uriel, who worked on The Lost City with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock, as well as the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie. It's being produced by Lord and Miller, who are helping to develop it.
It's crazy that we live in a world where when we were kids, we're like, can you imagine if we had a Spider-Man movie, like just one? Where now we have like a movie that has 3 Spider-Man in it, and we're going to get a live action, like super deep cut Elseworlds character.
I watched all those again, going back to like Superstation TBS, who showed all the weird stuff. Yeah. All those made for TV Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
I watched all of those, you know, and it's crazy awesome watching this.
Yeah, and you're being pulled up by a crane. It was so. There's another thing though, and my kids will never understand this. We were just happy to watch a movie. It didn't matter if it was good or bad. It was just a movie. Because we don't have streaming. Renting it, like if you rented a movie on a Friday night, you watched it, good, bad, or indifferent, because it was your choice. Right? So if there's a movie on television, you're just like, I'm going to watch this because it's a movie. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I'm just going to watch it. And, you know, now we have someone who's like, to turn them. When you were a kid, you'd never turn a movie off halfway through. You just didn't.
Nope. I'm getting through it no matter what.
Yeah. There's only one that I couldn't get through. It was Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
Nacho.
Normally, I love Jack Black, but I just could not get.
Couldn't get through it. Eh? Interesting.
That is the smartest dumb movie in the world. To me, Nacho Libre is like gold standard for comedy.
Nacho. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I'd say in my household, that's the most quoted movie of all.
I think as fans become more, as film fans become more sophisticated, if that's the right word, or as we become more critical, therein lies the issue, is that we are maybe too critical of the entertainment we are watching, and maybe lose sight of that. This is entertainment. We want to be entertained. Do you not want to suspend your disbelief? Do you not want to be immersed in the thing that you are consuming?
For sure.
It hurts the property if you continuously throw the reality lens on top of it and try to analyze it. It's why we in a very self-deprecating way, every time we harp on something in any of the Star Wars stuff that we review, I'm the first one to come back with space wizards and laser swords, right? Like, because that's ultimately what it is.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be entertaining.
Well, like professional wrestling exists because adults say, I want to be entertained.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. And again, you put that reality glasses on, you're like, oh, it's just men in tights pretending to fight.
Scuba Pete's got a great comment here, and this brings back some nostalgia for me. Getting to rent a VHS. Now, not just renting the tape, renting a VCR because you didn't own one.
Yeah.
Getting that pizza, going home, the excitement of like, how do you hook this thing up? Right? I mean, that's back in the day where dad knew how to do everything and didn't need help with setting the clock on it.
Yep.
Right.
And no, I love that.
Yeah. I remember that, like Scuba reading that message from Scuba Pete. It was like, I remember distinctly going to the Nipigon Cafe, ordering a pizza.
Yeah.
And then renting Howard the Duck and coming home and watching Howard the Duck and being like, this is bananas, but it's a movie about a duck. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be entertaining.
I had a very cool childhood in the sense that I grew up in a two traffic light town that was fortunate enough to have a single screen movie theater. So that meant that every weekend, it didn't matter what it was, I was in the movie theater from about the age of 10 right up until maybe 16 or 17. So I saw Howard the Duck in theaters. And at that time, I didn't know anything about the character. I had no idea that it was a Marvel character. And I thought it was a pretty cool movie.
So you just described my childhood with the one. We had one stoplight in town.
Yeah.
And the theater is called the Nipigon Plaza.
Okay.
And not only was it the theater, but the front was our movie rental place.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
You could go to a matinee on a Saturday, come out and rent a movie, and then go home.
The theater just down the road from us at one time, the Lindsay Century Theater used to be at one time. Interestingly enough, they had bragging rights for a couple of reasons. One, it was the largest at one time. It was the largest single screen theater in Ontario, and they ran a video store, Century Video, out of the front. They also infamously were one of the last movie theaters to allow smoking in the theater, the last 7 rows. And I remember and I am now a reformed smoker. I haven't smoked in, oh my God, 12, 13. I haven't smoked since 2010. Wow. But I can remember going there and looking around, and I'm like, I feel like I'm some kind of dirty guy sitting in the back row smoking. Truth be told, I was. It was a horrible habit. I'm glad I don't do it anymore. But yeah, smoking in the theater.
So you mentioned Ralph Bakshi before.
Yeah, Bakshi. Yeah,
fantastic. But go back to the VHS rental place. It was almost like an archaeological dig when you went there.
Hunting the aisles.
There was no internet to know what you were looking for. It was like you look at the front of the cover,
and then read up on the
back, and you.
Yep.
So I remember bringing home Wizards.
Wizards. That's okay. Wizards is okay.
But not knowing what to expect, I was like, "What is this movie?"
Yeah,
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So he had a style of his own. You either love it or you don't.
Absolutely. I mean, Bakshi's movie, Bakshi's Lord of the Rings, it's you either love it or you hate it.
Right. I'm in the love category for that one.
I'm in the love category as well. And then you've got Rankin Bass's attempt at completing the trilogy, which,
It was a little bit too cartoon after the epic we got from Bakshi.
Right.
Yeah.
Worst movie you've ever seen?
Worst film I've ever seen. Oh man, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I know what mine is. When I was engaged to my bride, we would pick on weekends. Every other week, to pick what movie we went to saw. And so the weekend after we saw the first Spider-Man and the spectacle that was back in the day,
the 2002,
we went and saw a movie called Riding in Cars with Boys with Drew Barrymore.
Oh, I remember that.
It was so boring and just nonsense that the movie ended and the credits were going up and it was quiet in the theater. And I said out loud, "What was that?" And then another guy was like, "I know, right?" And all these boyfriends started complaining about the movie we had to sit through. But that movie to me, like, was like, "Oh, this is rough." Okay,
that actually is jogging me now, because now that I put my brain to it, after hearing your experience, I had a similar experience when I was still married to my first wife. You know, it was a give and take. If we were going to the movies, we would alternate. I would pick a movie, she would pick a movie. And when it was her turn to pick the movie, we went to see the first Bring It On, the cheerleader movie.
That one was super entertaining compared to mine.
It was awful.
Oh, I know.
It was awful.
Worst movie I've ever seen was Open Water.
Open Water.
Nothing happens in that movie.
No, you wait so long for a shark, and then at the end they just go under.
Yeah.
And you're like,
is that the girl? The surfer girl?
Shallows.
Shallows.
Okay.
Shallows is a good movie.
Yeah. But no, Open Water. Two divers get left behind. And they basically float there for an hour and a half.
Right.
And you never see the shark.
It's almost like Blair Witch, right? It's like all like found footage almost.
Yeah. And they're acting like, oh, it's knocking my feet. It's knocking my feet. And then at the end, whoop, they're underwater and it's done. It's like,
that movie cost $8 to make.
Oh. So speaking of the lost footage or the found footage movies, I heard something. I read something. There's another Cloverfield in development somewhere.
I still haven't seen the third one.
Cloverfield Paradox.
Movies connected, like
they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be.
It's thin. It's thin, Riggs.
Pains Toy Samples. All right, adulting is calling. Have a good night, all. Thank you so much for joining us.
You well, Pains.
Come back and see us next week when we do this again, when we have our Tuesday night random fandom, where the topic is anything pop culture related. This week we're speaking with Adam from GoFigure. You never know who it's going to be next week. It could be you.
It could be you.
It could be you.
You've been warned.
Yeah.
Well, that's the retro, the Retro Tinker, worst movie I've seen. XXX: The Return of Xander Cage. One of the only movies I've ever given up on.
Oh, I didn't mind that one. It was better than part 2.
When your principal actor cannot save the franchise that they started.
True.
Remember when they were trying to make Vin Diesel a thing?
They're trying to make him a thing again.
I know, but they threw Pitch Black at us, and then they threw, and Vin Diesel has this thing where he's essentially a prop in movies.
He's 1 degree of Vin Diesel.
1 degree of Vin Diesel, but he acts like he is De Niro. Like I understand. He. Have you heard the story about the Pitch Black movies?
No. So that's what I was going to say on this whole, like, they're pushing him again. Another one that just got announced after what, a decade
at least.
Another Riddick movie is coming,
because he walked in with the scripts for those in 3 locked binders.
Really?
And he gave the first key to them, and they said, after we make the first one, I'll give you the second key. Like, it was this big epic thing, and then you get Riddick.
You know, they're okay for what they are. They're okay. Pitch Black, I thought, was good.
Yeah. Pitch Black was good because it was a space horror movie.
He's Dom in every movie. Yeah, more or less.
It's all about family.
More or less. All about family. And so that kind of lends some credence to that whole Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson feud. Like,
yeah.
Don't you take my franchise.
Do you think that the Fast movies really dropped the ball with the name of Fast X when it could have been called Fast 10 Your Seatbelts?
Fast 10 Your Seatbelts.
Seatbelts.
Fast 10 Fastener.
Fast 10 yeah.
I've already done Spider Car. What more are they going to do?
I'm not going to, so I'm not going to lie. I checked out after the Fast and the Furious #1 because it just did not, the whole street racing thing just did not appeal to me. I like cars as much as anybody else, but I had no stake in that whatsoever. It just could not do it for me.
Oh, it really evolved, though. It went from street racing to
now we're in space.
James Bond.
Yeah.
So when Hobbs and Shaw came out,
the spinoff, yeah,
I took my son to go see that movie, and he came out and he was pumped up about it. He was like, "This is great." He goes, "Do you think they're going to make another one of these?" And I was like, "Oh, this is like number 9." And he was like, "What?" So we went home and watched the first one.
Consumed all of them.
But he was like, "This is a very different movie. The last one had like Transformers and superheroes and stuff in it. This is just it really went places."
And invariably, I mean, as soon as you say Transformers, I'm like, Rise of the Beasts. We've all seen the trailers for that.
So, Andy, thoughts? I feel like I've been talking too much tonight. Andy, what are your thoughts on the Rise of the Beasts?
I'm looking forward to it simply because the Optimus Primal there, the gorilla, looks amazing.
I had said the same thing last week. As a Transformer guy, it's a sizable portion of my toy collection are Transformers. And like most fans of my age, closer to 50 than I am to 40, I fall squarely into the G1 category of fans. But as a modern toy collector, I will always pick articulation over nostalgia, or the happy medium of both. And so, you know, I was never a Beast Wars fan, but then I see this trailer and I see the designs and what they're doing, and I'm like, suddenly I feel I can get behind this. And I can't explain why. I still don't like Beast Wars, but for whatever reason, it's working for me in live action.
Yeah. And I think so. The first Transformers was a good movie. And they did an incredible thing where they would just show a car driving down the road and you got so pumped up. You're like, this is going to be amazing.
Transformer.
And then 2, 3, 4, and 5 happened. And I would say that they're almost, for me, the second one's not terrible, but they're pretty unwatchable. It just becomes lots of explosions and running, and they lost any heart that any of those robots had.
The joke of Bayhem just rings so true, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But then Bumblebee came out. That movie is top shelf.
I finally got around to watching that.
it's good. I mean, I don't understand why it's kind of. I love the Bumblebee movie. Don't get me wrong, but it has this 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door, where the biggest problem with it is they didn't know what it was and where it fit. Like,
right.
Even the marketing leading up to that movie, it's part of the Bayverse, but it's not. Is it or isn't it? Like, just tell me that it's a soft reboot and just be done with it. I'm okay with that.
Right. But so I take it as a soft reboot.
Yep.
And the Beast Wars movie being a sequel to Bumblebee gets me excited, right? To see like a vintage style Optimus Prime. And even if you watch the way he transforms like the old toy. Like, they really, they doubled down on that. And so like, I'm for the first time in a long time, because I wasn't excited about Bumblebee because of the lineage before that. I was like, oh, it's gonna be another one of these nonsense movies. And then I saw it with low expectations, which were blown out of the water.
Yep.
So now I'm like, okay, I'm back in. You got me. I'm hooked again. Let's do it.
If anything, I feel like having Bumblebee go back to being a Camaro at the end of that movie is a step backwards.
Yep. It should have been that last shot should have been the bridge of the old truck and the Bumblebee.
Yep. And the Bug. And honestly, you could have just went with the new Bug. And I know it's not new anymore. It's not. It's discontinued, but still, it's the same vibe. Oh man.
Yeah.
You want to swing back to toys for a minute? Because that just gets me so angry.
Yeah, let's swing back to toys. Make you happy.
Mask. We started with Mask. I want to go back to Mask. And if that's how we end the night, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm the guy that wants to see Mask rebooted, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We still have the Chevy Camaro. So give me a 2023 Camaro Thunderhawk. Give me a 2023 whatever type of scooter as Condor. Give me the 2023 Bronco as Jackhammer. Like, I don't need. I just want to see modern interpretations of that property, and I think they tried to do that in the IDW book.
So what I would do in a movie is I would have Scott, T-Bob and Scott. So I would have Scott,
everybody's favorite kid to rescue.
I'd have Scott be the main hero because he's grown up now. So
that's cool. I like that.
And so he's driving the modern Thunderhawk.
Yeah,
that's what it is. T-Bob is now an AI, kind of like Jarvis.
That works for me as well.
Right. So you have T-Bob there, and he can be a little guy that goes around, but he plugs in, he jacks, and he's in the internet.
Sure.
And so it's Scott relaunching Mask and recruiting new people.
Yeah.
That's the movie. Yeah. And then at the end, you have Matt Tracker come back in the old Camaro to make a rescue.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, here's the question.
Yep.
Who plays old Matt Tracker?
Who plays old Matt Tracker? Oh,
and I have the answer. I just want to see what you guys would say.
Okay, wait a second now. Age appropriate. Just give me 2 seconds here. Now I gotta think. I'll use my phone.
I threw it out there.
Who could do it?
I'm gonna give you a name here in 2 seconds. Robert Redford.
Robert Redford. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Circa Winter Soldier.
Yep.
Redford.
I would go John Schneider.
I like that.
Right? See him jumping in the window of a Camaro and just going for it?
Yeah. This is an interesting one. Gaz says Chris Pine. Chris Pine, I think, might actually could be your Scott Tracker.
Yeah, Scott Tracker.
To be honest.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I can see him as Robert Redford's son.
Yeah, no, Robert Redford. I was sold on John Schneider, but Robert Redford, circa Winter Soldier, is the right answer as well. Yeah.
I like that one. I love that property. I was so excited when Hasbro announced it as part of their Revolution.
Yeah.
The Revolution pack that they were going to launch their big cinematic. Oh, that's a good answer too. Scuba Pete says Barry Bostwick.
Ooh.
I love that it was included in the lineup of properties that Hasbro wanted to turn into this big cinematic universe. I think we've in other groups and other forums, we've had this discussion, but for the purposes of our show, like, is Mask not what we all have said before, that it's the best of the Transformer and the G.I. Joe world?
Yeah. I think the reason we haven't got a Mask reboot yet is because of the Sixtions collector scale being dominant in figures that you can't make cars and vehicles for that scale.
That's true.
But we don't care. Just give us little figures.
Well, I mean, you've got the guys at Ramen Toy who are working on their not Thunderhawk and they're not Shark.
Right.
And if they turn out the way that it seems like they're going to turn out, I might actually go in on that Shark.
So the Shark, I can see a reason for.
Yeah.
But to pay $150 for a remake of a toy that I can buy the vintage one for $100.
Agreed.
Right.
And I mean, as far as vintage, as I've said before, I'm a modern guy, but you know, the one vintage line that I have a fairly decent run of is Mask, because it's the one toy line that I loved as a kid, but didn't have anything from.
Well, then, Wes, I'm going to send you something.
I've got everything I want now, almost.
I don't think you do, Wes. I don't think you do.
I don't. You know what I don't have? I still don't have Scott or T-Bob.
No.
And
hold on a second here.
there's a cool I can't think of who makes it. Somebody has made a conversion kit for the vintage T-Bob that basically turns him into the scooter.
Neat.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. But so here's my Thunderhawk, right?
I like that. Thunderhawk is so nice.
He's great, but I designed my own stand.
Oh, that is cool.
And so this is a stand for your Thunderhawk to go on your shelf, and he flies like this.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's
sick.
That's fantastic.
I'm gonna send you a couple of those. They work.
Oh, that's beautiful.
For Raven, for Firefly.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Right, find a guy who loves Mask. You got to.
Yeah. I
so
think there's quite a few of us
a bunch, and then you can share them with Andy if he does.
Absolutely. I basically went after everything that was that appeared on screen in season 1.
Right.
And then I went for Manta, even though Manta came late in the toy line. So really, Shark is the only thing that was in season 1 that we never got a toy for. So, you know, and you could go out and pay crazy dollars. The eBay guy, Mask, Shark, and Customs, and you can wait months at a time for what essentially is a model kit.
Yeah.
I think this Ramen toy thing might actually be the
way to go.
The best thing coming.
I see that being where the Ramen toy guy. Well, thank you, Ginger Tinker. Where he has a market, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't see a market for reissues of the Centurions that have high ticket price, but give us like the female characters we never got, right? Give us the Judge from Bravestar. Right?
Crystal that ran the Skylink.
Yeah,
Skylink, the space station.
Yeah,
and the orangutan.
Yeah,
yeah, but like, you know, and give us the Judge from Bravestar, right? All that.
Oh, sure.
Like, let us continue our line. That's when I do my custom Motu stuff. It's all about like continuing the line, like keeping it going.
Right, as if it had never stopped.
As if it had never stopped.
I will say this about the Ramen toy guys; they're pretty ambitious. I'm a lurker. I don't comment a lot, but I do watch, and I've seen their posts. I've seen what they have in the pipeline, and ambitious. I don't think there's another word for it. Ambitious.
No, I think they're really ambitious. That they're like, we're gonna just make these properties without permission.
So that's a whole other. That is a whole other thing, and I mean,
like right, wrong, or indifferent. I just think it's a bold move that I wouldn't do.
It is. I mean, I'll say this much, and I've said it before. It's people who think that they can just make a custom toy based on an intellectual property and sell it under the guise of it's fan art, don't understand intellectual property law. And just because you can, and the third party Transformer universe is the sort of the window that I use. Yeah. Just because Hasbro doesn't litigate all those companies doesn't mean that they can't. And they did in the case of that third-party Unicron when they were doing their HasLab Unicron. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've said this in a number of streams, and it's like, you know, the thing that drives me.
Yeah.
Don't spend our energy on trying to redo something that's already been done. Make something new.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I can't go to the toy store right now with my kids, or when they were younger even, and find a new property, because it's all just rehashed stuff from when we were kids.
Yeah.
right? Yep. There hasn't been a new line, and so even the way toys are distributed. Whereas when Masters of the Universe was coming out, it's like, here's the first wave of toys. That's what we got. We're gonna make some more figures. Here you go. And now it's like, well, we need to release our main characters first and spread them out. It's a whole different thing. How are you going to release characters so that people are always waiting for the next ones, as opposed to giving us something new that is going to blow our minds?
Yeah, and I'm no exception to the nostalgia sells thing that I would say toy collectors are enjoying right now.
Yep.
The majority of my collection is Transformers, Star Wars, and Masters of the Universe, albeit all modern. Now, that being said, I did not go in on Origins or Masterverse figures because I felt that my classics collection was large enough to fulfill that space.
Yep.
And I don't have any connection to these fringe characters that are coming out now. I have no connection to Sunman or any of those ancillary characters, so they don't mean anything to me. And then this latest wave of Masters Origins figures that I just saw pop up, this white ninja guy and the frog guy. Where are they coming from? Where are these characters coming from?
Well, the Frogmonger was a figure that they did, and they had a frog head, so they put it in a horde suit and called it a figure. So it's funny. I was on a stream with Ken a few weeks ago.
Sure.
And I mentioned that, like, I understand the cultural relevance of it all, but like Sunman does nothing for me.
Nope.
And then 2 days later, or 4 days later, whatever it is, I got one in the mail. Someone sent one to me. Like, here's a Sunman for you. I was like, what am I gonna do with this thing? Now I got a Sunman.
Enjoy it. Yeah. Open it up. Do a review on it. I don't know. Do an unboxing or something like that.
Yeah. Make sure your camera angle's good.
Yeah, exactly. Something that we admittedly don't do very much of on this channel is a lot. We don't do a lot of toy stuff.
Right.
And we should do more.
Yeah.
We should do more. I mean, we're the three of us, you, myself, and Hank, we're all toy guys. So
yeah.
Recovering box collector.
There are so many toy channels though. And I don't want to be necessarily a toy channel, but you know, I like to dip in and out. I actually like, go ahead, Adam.
Like I'm a toy channel. It's all about the toys, but I didn't want to be another guy just doing reviews, right? And that's what we did, like the fixing and the restoring and the designing.
For sure.
I think that's something different and fun, and that's not me just like acquiring toys. That's how I'm playing with them, right?
Right.
That's the fun process. So I'll give you a sneak peek. I'll give you a sneak peek for the video coming out this Saturday.
Wait, this is a Fandom Power exclusive.
Fandom Power exclusive, but it's just a little tease. This is like a flash teaser.
Go full screen, everybody.
But that was one of the things I designed for this Saturday.
Ooh, that's pretty slick looking.
Right.
Now, should I recognize that?
You should, but maybe you won't. But
is it modified?
So this is from scratch. Like I designed it to be a replica of what once was.
Interesting.
Okay. So that's and actually this is one of the things that I printed flat, and so all the curves I mold it in hot water.
Yeah, I was going to say you heated it up and bent it out. Oh, that's great. It looks great.
So it's a little tease for Saturday's video.
Excellent. So
the bringing back old toys and giving them new life is
we'll all be tuning into that. Are you doing a live premiere on that one?
Yeah, we're gonna do a live premiere 6:30 on Saturday night.
6:30 Eastern time.
Eastern Standard Canadian Ontario time.
So let me just pull up a calendar here. That's going to be so Saturday, February 18th on GoFigure.
That's right.
So we'll all be watching for that.
It's gonna be a fun one. I do a little bit there that I think is maybe either going to be the funniest thing I've ever put on my channel or make people the most upset. It's gonna border that line.
By the way, if you guys haven't subscribed to Adam's channel, GoFigure, you can find the link in the description of the stream here. I encourage you to go over there, hit the link, go check out Adam's channel and see all of the awesome customization work that he does, and literally breathes life back into some of these old toys that have lots more love to give.
More love to give. I love that.
Friend of our channel, Doug Illingworth from the East Coast. He-Man.
Well, that's a question.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
He-Man?
He-Man. The part is from He-Man. It's from a He-Man. One of the He-Mans.
No, it's not. It's not from He-Man. It's not from a He-Man.
Is it from the line? Is it from the Motu line?
It's not from the Motu line.
It's not from Motu.
No, but it is Mattel.
That's why. Mattel. Okay.
I'm thinking maybe Brave Star.
Yeah, Brave Star.
Yeah, that's exactly what that's from.
Yeah, yeah. Is that a 30-30 headgear?
It's a 30-30 headgear right there.
Yeah, okay, that's what that is. I knew it was gonna. It took me a minute, but
yeah.
Okay, that looks good.
Yeah,
it looks really good. Now I can picture it.
That was a big undertaking because 30-30's got a lot of bits.
By the way, while we're talking about your stuff, you just recently invited me to come and do a little thing with you that you call Mo Tuesday. Can you tell us more about Mo Tuesday and what that is?
So Mo Tuesday isn't even my brainchild. So what happened was Zazel and Phil from Treasures for Triggers. Zazel's in Australia and Phil is in Japan. And so they, we're in a chat group together where we do a thing called Streamathon together. We do multi-channel stuff. They're just beauties. And so they were talking kind of the same thing we were talking about earlier. Like, we don't want to be another review channel and we want to do stuff that's different. So they were talking, we want to do like a talk show called Mo Tuesdays. And on Tuesday, we talk about Masters of the Universe. So what we do is we go through a wave of vintage toys and look at it and compare it to that same wave in Origins and kind of say what was good, bad, and kind of what we want to do. And then, but we also have a guest on each day. And so I was actually just the first guest.
Oh, well done.
On the show. And then, they were like, why doesn't he just come and be part of what's going on? Because part of what we do is we ask
You're in now.
Yeah. We ask the guest to make take a look at all the old vintage parts.
Yes.
And say, what would your ideal, using vintage parts, what would your ideal Motu figure be? If you could, because Motu is all about remolds and reuses. And so we've had a couple of those go up, and I do up digital renderings of what the figure would look like, and we call it Master of the Universe.
Universe, Y-O-U.
Universe. And so that's a cool thing we do. And then in the show, it goes up every episode. But if people like the concept figure, they can order one. We only do one of each. And it goes up for auction. And so Zazel is trying to get to Joe Fest, so he's got a little GoFundMe going on.
Oh, very cool.
So it's whoever donates to the GoFundMe gets the figure.
Oh, nice. That's great. That's awesome. Now you did pitch that to me earlier when you asked me if I would like to be a guest, and I did send you.
You did.
I did send you. Now I will not reveal that ahead of time. If you want to find out what my Motu Universe character is, you're gonna have to tune into that episode, which is to be determined when that's coming up.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, it's a great figure. It's better than any, in concept, it's better than any new figure that we didn't have in the vintage line that came out in Origins.
Oh, sure. And honestly, when you pitched me the idea and you told me what it was, I think I had my my origin story locked in about 5 minutes. And I think within 20 minutes, I had my list of parts over to you.
Yeah. And so that's and I love that, because for me, it all goes back to story. When I do a custom figure, it's like, what's the story? What's going on?
Right.
And, so like one of my most recent favorite customs is this glow in the dark armor Skeletor.
Ooh. And now you posted photos of that on your Facebook. Yeah,
Facebook and my Instagram.
It looks great, by the way.
So he's got chains thing, so it's kind of like a Jacob Marley thing.
It looks awesome.
But the story is to overtake the castle of Eternia. He imprisons Scareglow in his armor.
Ooh. Oh, right. That conceptually that works so well.
Scareglow's head there. And so
that's
actually a rendering of Scareglow's head that I put into his armor.
That's
and
awesome.
So it's like he gets more power from that. So if without story, they're just toys. And so I love the story aspect. So when you sent me your story beat, I was like, oh, I get a novel and a toy.
Yeah, that's right. There's enough there for a mini comic for sure.
Absolutely.
We should get someone to do that.
Well, that glow in the dark Skeletor would be like a great comic. Like, just imagine him talking to Scareglow, like, shut up, armor.
So we are doing a thing, and I've asked Wes to kind of come in on this idea as well.
I have told the guys. I told them both that this was on the table. And
the
I can't speak.
Is essentially Motu 88.
Yeah.
Where we just keep the line going as if it keeps going. And so we want to do some world building, some storytelling, some custom figures. It's kind of like bring a bunch of different channels and bring something different to the pie and see where it goes.
and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I am so excited to be a part of that project. So I hope that
for sure
when the wheel gets a rolling, that it picks up steam. So
no, it's gonna be good. I just, like I say, this is how we play with our toys as adults and kind of get away with it, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, like you say, story is everything. And so if you can construct a story that resonates, then everything else is gravy.
Yeah. 100%.
Talking armor or weaponry, actually, that was in the latest season of Vox Machina.
Oh yeah, it was.
And that worked well for that beat.
So I mean, and but that's a classic trope of Dungeons and Dragons, which ultimately Vox Machina is inspired by. These intelligent weapons that basically have their own soul, I guess, as it were. Yeah.
But Scareglow in armor, like that could be comedy beat right there. Because it wouldn't be
trapped in there arguing.
Arguing.
So there's also in my mind that Skeletor doesn't know, but Scareglow, because we don't know, is Scareglow Skeletor or is it not Skeletor?
I guess it depends on which part of the lore you want to adhere to. And I mean, that's the crazy part about Masters lore is you take what you want, you leave what you don't care for.
Yeah, because if you like the Kevin Smith one, they're two separate.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's hypothetically say that Scareglow is a ghost of Skeletor.
Yep.
Who's come back.
Yep.
And Skeletor imprisons him in armor to power himself up. What if He-Man goes to the future and says to future He-Man, don't kill Skeletor?
Don't do it. Oh my God. Paradox.
And then he loses the armor in the past. Like what happens then?
That's a crazy idea. Time bending stuff always makes my brain hurt.
You know what? The best thing about the Avengers was, no, not the Avengers. Sorry. The best thing about the movie Looper was
Looper.
They're sitting in a diner.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, how's this whole time travel thing work? And Bruce Willis goes, it's complicated. Don't worry about it. Like he almost says to the audience, he's like, it's a movie. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Go with it.
You know what? Time travel, how it worked for me, and I think it's still one of the best representations of time travel is still Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted.
So if I think about it then, and then boink, the thing happens, or what they need is there. Yeah. Love it. When they're going through the police station trying to avoid
remember my dad's keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a great, and that's how you do the time travel thing, right? Like if I ever discover time travel, I'll come back right now.
Yep.
And bring I guess I didn't do it.
Well, listen, we've just crossed the 2-hour mark. I don't know if we want to try and drag this out any longer, not because we have to, but my God, we've had a consistent audience tonight. We've had 6 or 7 that have stuck with us all night. Man, I can't thank you guys enough. I know we are such a small channel in the grand scheme of things, but every time you guys show up and participate in one of these with us, whether it's here on Random Fandom Tuesdays or in one of our regular review series, which, by the way, we are currently running down Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 2. Every Sunday night, we review the most current episode. I'm working on my show notes for today's episode, actually, The Crossing. And yeah, it's a fantastic series. If you don't watch Star Wars The Bad Batch and you want to get caught up, just come and hang out with us on Sunday night. We literally are the audiobook version of Star Wars The Bad Batch. Except we will connect all of the greater lore connections, go through all the Easter eggs, and maybe some things you might have missed.
So I want to say something to that, Wes.
Yeah, sure.
You said that in the grand scheme of things, you're a small channel.
We absolutely are.
I am the champion of in this YouTube space. You can do things to grow your audience fast and artificially, or you can be genuine and grow a slow, steady, and dedicated group of fans or group of followers that love it. Right. And so I love what you guys have done. I'm always in your chats.
Thanks very much.
You guys are a small channel, but you guys are bringing dynamite content. So don't sell yourself short by saying you're a small channel. You're still a big hitter in my books.
Well, thank you very much. I've always said that because our niche is so saturated. I think that's the right word. Because it's so saturated, I know that there are a plethora of other Star Wars content creators that you could go in and watch. But I've always said this. I think it's more important to be thorough than it is to be first, which is why I always say, even if you watch these other guys, come and check out one of our shows, because a lot of the times we actually, and I'm not trying to say this to pump my own tires, quite often we'll pick up on things that the other guys have missed. And it's kind of funny when we get that, oh, we scooped the big guy. Anyway, I'm not gonna, I don't want to.
I'll do it though. Fandom and Power is always quality. You guys should always check it out.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And I hope you'll come back and join us again on a future installment here of Random Fandom Tuesdays.
I would love to. I love hanging out with good buddies.
Right. And again, I'm sorry for the technology glitch that we had. Clearly, I need to make sure that both devices are paired and do a test call before we go live. I promise I will get that sorted out for next week. And who knows, maybe we'll get another call from Rolf the dog.
Oh.
/ that crazy guy over at Toy Connections. By the way, Toy Connections, one of the things I like to do with our channel is all the channels that we either support or we have worked with are in our featured channels. So that's where you're going to find guys like Toy Connections and Adam at GoFigure.
Fantastic. Well,
listen, guys,
it's been fun.
It's been an awesome Tuesday night. I can't wait to do this again next week. We'll be back with more headlines plucked right from the next 7 days of pop culture news. There's always something going on, and keep your headlines in mind and bring them to us with your comments and calls. Anyway, guys, for Fandom Power, we'll see you next week. My name is Wes.
I'm Andy.
And we'll catch you next time, guys. Bye for now.